Hello everyone, I'm your host Arali and welcome to yet another episode of Guild Wars 2 Translated. The Durman Priory. If there ever was anything to translate, it would most certainly be here. While the halls of the Durman Priory are filled with many texts, scrolls, and other artifacts, we're only allowed to read a few of them, which is a shame. But there are some texts that are translatable for us nonetheless. When we walk down the path into the mountain in the Durman Priory, one can see tablets displayed on either side, as well as in the far back room, with many tablets actually floating above the hero point. Now, one would think that this is a lot to translate. In truth, however, there are only 4 separate tablets, and they repeat a few times over to give the illusion of there being a lot more. We can still translate those. So let's get down to business and see what each of the 4 tablets say. The first one says, "The fall of Ascalon. History tells us that Ascalon city fell in the year 1090 AE. However, that date does not mark the end of the tale of Ascalon, but the beginning of an even darker chapter. Besieged by overwhelming Char forces, King Adalbern, last king of Ascalon, destroyed his sword, Magdare, thus unleashing the foe fire, which swept through the ... The second one says, "The rise of the dragons. Never shall a full reckoning of the tales of the dragons be told by mere mortals, for the cycle of the awakenings date back past the time of Giganticus Lippicus into the prehistory of our very world. The current rise of the dragons began almost 250 years ago in the far Shiver Peaks. Heroes of the time ... The third one says, "The Char Rebellion. The story of Kala Scorchrazor and the Shaman caste has been told many times. Most historians have studied the Battle of the Plains of Golgheim and how Kala's female warriors, trained in secret for a generation or more, dealt a decisive blow to the Gold Legion. However, many often forget that the rebellion began some 40 years earlier when Kala's grandfather, Pyre Fearshot ... And the last one says, "Whence the dwarves. Few alive today can truly claim to have met or even seen a dwarf, and yet some 250 years ago, the Shiver Peaks fairly crawled with this deterministic and highly skilled race. Both above and beneath the mountains, altered forever into beings of rock and stone by the gift of the Grey Dwarf, the ... remainder ... The final few parts are worn out and cannot be read, but it's unfortunate that these don't really give any new insights into the subjects they're about. It would be cool to find tombs or catacombs filled with tablets like these that tell of old stories that we haven't learned yet. Perhaps ArenaNet will consider that for any future expansions, maybe even one that leads to the old underground cities of the Asura and the Dwarfs. Anyway, this will be all for today's episode. Make sure to like and subscribe and join me next time for another episode of Guild Wars 2 Translated."